Hello everyone, good evening to one and all. Here we have the fourth day of our Hello World webinar. Today's session will be based on Unreal Engine, about what it is and what we can do with it. And as some of you might know, it requires a bit of a high-end laptop to work. So the session will be more like a walkthrough, so you can just sit back and watch what's being done. Today's session will be taught by Surya. He's a third-year student at Vidya Academy of Science and Technology. He's been working on numerous projects based on Unreal Engine, Blender, and Illustrator. He also runs a YouTube channel where he posts his works frequently. You can check it out later. So before we begin the session, I would like to remind you guys about attendance. The links for the attendance will be posted on the chats. So make sure that you fill it before the time ends. We would even be reposting the links every 3 minutes or so. So it's quite mandatory that you fill the attendance. So that's it with the intro. I think we can start today's session. So over to you, Surya.
I hope the audio is clear now.
Yeah, it's clear now. It's clear.
Okay, so as I was saying, this will be a beginner's course on Unreal Engine 4. I'm actually also a beginner like you guys. So I started learning Unreal Engine 4 like a couple of months before, like 3 months. I actually started during the lockdown days. So I basically started by 2D illustrations using Illustrator. Then I moved on to 3D visualizations using Blender. And finally, now I'm learning Unreal Engine 4. So basically, you guys might think, what is my qualification to teach you or take a session like this? I don't have any qualifications. I don't have a degree on Unreal Engine 4, but I'm a self-taught artist. So I experiment things, I watch YouTube tutorials, and yeah, I think I have made myself a mark in the 3D industry. So without further ado, I guess we can go into the session. Basically, we'll be first briefing about what Unreal Engine is, how Unreal Engine is being used in several other industries like automobile, archviz, and mainly cinematics. So we're going to be looking at the cinematic part, which has less coding and more blueprints. I'll tell you all about it later. So if that's okay with the intro, let's dive into the session. Welcome. Tell me if there is an audio problem.
Yeah, you are audible.
Is it okay? It's good. Okay, thank you. Okay. So let's begin. I'll share my screen now. We actually had planned this as a hands-on session, but due to the size and specifications of the software, I don't think many of you guys wouldn't be able to do it. So basically, you can listen or watch what I'm doing, and you can refer to the video later when we post it on YouTube. Yes, it will be available as a recap on YouTube, so you can watch it later and follow along. Then you have the software and the necessary conditions, okay? I hope that's clear. Okay, so what actually pushed you to entering the 3D industry, or what made you think that you wanted to create something 3D? Basically, if you ask me, when I was a kid, I was very much fascinated about video games. I go crazy over video games. So most of my rich friends back then had computers at home. So I used to go to their houses to play games. And what I noticed was the game was developed and there was an environment in the game. So I was thinking, like, how are these guys even making these environments in a game which looked super real to our eyes? Obviously it's virtual, but it looked real. And I thought it was nearly as impossible to make it myself. So that really pushed me to get into the 3D industry. and I didn't know. I did not actually attend any courses. I was watching YouTube tutorials. I started off with Blender. Blender is a free and open source 3D software to work on. It's pretty simple. It has a lot of options. When you first open it up and watch the interface, you go crazy. But as you go along, you really develop your hang of it. And if I might tell you, patience is really the key in learning 3D software. You have to be patient. Rome was not built in a day, so I guess you have to continuously practice on with small steps. You don't have to push yourself hard at first. You can just take small bits and then progress accordingly. So that's it. Let's go into Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine is basically a game engine which is developed by Epic Games. They could make games initially. In the 1980s, Unreal Engine was used mostly to develop games only by Epic Games. They did not grant any license. They did not grant any license to other people. So now they have released it as a free version so that creators around the world can download it and use it for their purposes. So without further ado, let's jump right into the session. I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay, please tell me if you can see the screen. Okay. Okay, so let's start. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so can you see the screen right now? Can you see my Unreal Engine window? Yes, okay, good. So this is the scene we're going to be trying to create today. And yeah, I'll walk you through every single step and every option right here. These are called the actors, which we use to construct our scene. This is our content browser. I'll give you the whole tour when we start a fresh project, okay? So let me just close this. We're gonna take Epic Games Launcher. And here I have two versions. This is because some of the assets in the marketplace are only compatible with certain versions. So if I have like a tree asset, maybe it will be just compatible with 4.24, but some other assets are compatible with 4.25. There is no backwards compatibility. So that's a problem with Unreal Engine. So we'll just click launch here, which will basically launch a new Unreal Engine project.
അത് നമ്മുടെ യൂട്യൂബിൽ ലിങ്കാടാ, നമ്മുടെ യൂട്യൂബിൽ ലിങ്ക്. ഞാനും അത് തന്നെ ഇട്ടേക്കണം, പേടിക്കണ്ട. ഓ, ആ ലിങ്ക് അല്ല അവർക്ക് വേണ്ട. എനിക്കൊന്ന് സൂര്യയുടെ ലിങ്കാ ചോദിക്കുന്നത്.
Yes, I will share my link later. Okay, so this is the first window that you'll see when you run Unreal for the first time. So this is one of my projects I created. Here you can see all the projects that you have created. And this section is, you get 4 different categories. I told you Unreal Engine has gotten into several different industries, not just gaming. So you have film, television, and live events, architecture, engineering, and construction, automotive production, design, and manufacturing. So what we have to do is select games right here. Click on games and select next. So we have quite a few templates to start with. Templates really helps us to, get started off really quick. So what we want to do is click the third person view. Third person, okay? That's what we're going to create. You can play around with the settings if you want, but for now, those who are following along, you can click third person, okay? And click next. And these are some project settings. They are required before you start getting into the engine. So choose whether to create a blueprint or C++ project. A blueprint allows you more
to functionally do stuff using a visual script rather than to actually input raw code. So we can use Blueprint. We're going to be using Blueprint here, no coding, and we're going to set this to maximum quality. Of course, we want maximum quality. And ray tracing will be disabled because my graphics card would not support ray tracing. Ray tracing is only supported by certain graphic cards, RTX cards, and only a small number of GTX cards too, I guess. And here we can select which console or desktop or mobile you want to do your project on. Let's just leave it at the default. And yes, you would want to have starter content. Starter content allows you to get going in a jiffy. Like, since we're beginners, we'll just start with starter content. And you have to name your project. So I'm going to name my project tutorial _1 and save it anywhere you like. And we're going to create. It's loading. Okay, so this is our project window. This is the default window that you'll see when you create your first project. Since we have clicked third person, you can see the third person view. And if we click this arrow right here and click play, you can actually view the whole site in third person, and you can actually walk around just like you are in a third person game. See, isn't that cool? So you can walk around and you can just get the hang of it. Oh, by the way, when you click your right mouse button and drag, you can orbit around your scene like that. See, just like you're playing a third-person game, shooter game or whatever. Okay, now press Shift plus F1, and then click these arrows right here and press stop. So we're back in the viewport. Now what we want to do is we want to create a default level. A level in Unreal Engine is called like a map. Okay, so if you're doing a movie or a cinematic project, you will have different scenes. So you don't want to fit every scene in just one place. That will be really awkward. So you can create different levels so that you can switch between those levels, just like different tabs. Okay, so click File, New Level, right here. And there are also a couple of presets here too. Seeing time of day, which will be basically morning or evening, or you can switch it to night. VR basic, which we are definitely not going to touch. That's super, higher level. Empty level, which is basically nothing in it, so we have to start from scratch. We'll be starting with the default level. Okay, so we can default. Okay, cool. So this is what you will get when you first open up Unreal Engine, create your first project, and we click File and New Level. So this is our default level that you're seeing right now, just with the floor and some icons. And we have a sky, a beautiful sky provided by Unreal Engine itself, and a sun. Okay, so this is where we're going to be building our scene, basically. Okay, so now let me give you an overview of the interface really quickly. This here is called the actors. The actors are objects, or what can you say, some tools that we use in our project to make it more, visually pleasing. There are several different categories. The basic, meaning some basic shapes and some stuff like that, cylinder, sphere, cone. And the very important thing about Unreal Engine is that you can drag and drop stuff. It's that super easy. Like if you want a sphere, you can just drag a sphere and just drop it right there. See? It's not complicated. Just drag and drop mechanism in Unreal Engine. That's what's made this thing really popular. Let me delete that for now. Okay, and what we are going to do is actually, yeah, import our, let's import our 3D character. Oh, before that, I'll just run along through all of this. We have lights. We have 5 different lights. We'll talk about that later. And we have some cinematic stuff here, which we'll talk about later. Visual effects, geometry, volumes on all classes. I'll explain everything later. And this here is the taskbar or status bar, you can call it. This is where you will save your project. And there are modes. This panel is really important because if you click this, you have different options called landscape. You can create a whole new landscape for your scene, such as mountains and valleys that you see in the games. Foliage tool is used in, you know, spreading grass and trees on your scene, stuff like that. We can paint grass and trees in our landscape. Brush editing, vertex painting, or you can call it. So we can basically paint stuff. These are all related to landscape and stuff. So let's just keep it right there. And here we have the world outliner. This is basically where the stuff that we insert in our 3D viewport is visible here. So here's the floor. So if you click on the floor, it's highlighted here. So we can, maybe we can hide the floor or we can make it visible. And if we click the floor here, the details or the further instructions or tweaking or modifications that you want to do with the floor is available here. Okay, right. Details panel. That's what the details panel is for. You can set the location, rotation, scale, mobility. There are actually tons of options in Unreal Engine that we are not usually, basically not going to touch. We're just going to go with the basics here. So let's start. Okay. So how do we move around in Unreal Engine? So basically, if you click, if you right click and drag, you can orbit around a specific point at where you are. So right click and drag for orbiting and hold down right click, and with your WASD keys, you can move around in your scene. So if you press W, you'll go forward. If you press S, you'll go backward. A to the left, D to the right. Everything should be done while holding down the right mouse button, okay? So let's just fly around the scene like that. Okay, using your WASD keys, holding down your right mouse button. Is that clear? Okay. Okay, now if you want to go up, press E. If you want to go down, press Q. So E to go up, Q to go down, W forward, S backward, A to the left, D to the right. That's how you navigate around your landscape or your scene, basically. Okay. So if you want to zoom in, the default, just scroll and you can zoom in, scroll back to zoom out. Okay, so that's the general convention of moving around in your scene right here. So click on the, just click and hold the right mouse button, click W to move forward, S to go backward, A to the left, D to the right, E goes up, and Q goes down. Okay, is that clear? All right. So now what we want to do is actually, you guys would have to download a small pack, small animation starter pack, which is going to be, if you're going to follow along with me. So take the Epic Games Launcher once again. How to slow down, pardon. How to slow down your pace in which you're moving. Is that your question? Okay, so we go back here. Yeah, sometimes we're like moving too fast. So to slow down, see this camera icon here on the right, which says camera speed. So you just click there and reduce the speed to 2 or maybe even 1. 1 is super slow, so we can put it at 2, and then we can go back, right click, and then if you move, it will move slowly, okay, than the regular speed. Sometimes if you have a large landscape, you don't have to be setting your camera speed to 2 because that would be really annoying. So sometimes, so then that you have to put it at 7 or 6, and you have to go super fast, okay. I imagine if we are stuck somewhere like here, anywhere, okay, and we have to go back to our floor right here. So what we want to do is put the camera speed back to 3 or something, and then click on the floor right here and press F on your keyboard, and it will instantly focus onto the object that you have selected, okay. So let me go backwards a bit. Again, I'll show you. So going backwards. Now if you want to focus on the floor, click on the floor and press F on the keyboard. It'll instantly focus on the object right there, okay. That's how you navigate around the viewport. Is that clear? Okay. So now we're gonna import an animation starter pack, which I have already downloaded. This is the pack, animation starter pack. You can search this in the marketplace right here. Show you. Once it loads up. There we go. This is the animation starter pack. This is completely free. So you can go ahead and download that if you can right now, or you can just watch me doing it, okay? And now to add this to our project, we just click on add to project. And there's our project tutorial. Click on the tutorial and then click add to project. You can see a progress bar right here saying adding to project. Okay, now it's added to our project. Let's see if it's there. So your assets and basically everything that you're going to be importing from outside will be in your content browser right here. So the content browser is the main thing where every asset, every what you can say, materials, textures, everything are going to be in your content browser here. Okay, so click on content, and there we have our animation starter pack right here, which we exported right now. Click on that, double click on that, and we have several animations which is provided. What we want to do is click on UE for mannequin. Okay, once more, content, animation starter pack, UE for mannequin, and we can select the folder mesh. Double click on it, and there we can see SK mannequin in a sort of violet or purple color, highlighted with the color. So you can just left click and drag him into the scene like that. And it's going to compile some shaders for us, so we're just going to wait until it compiles the shaders. Okay, shaders are basically, you know, textures and materials on our robot guy or mannequin right here. Yes, I use Mixamo. I'm not really good at character rigging, but yeah, I use pre-made stuff. Okay, here we have the mannequin loaded. Oh, we have to. I'm sorry, just delete one. Okay, so here is our mannequin. You can actually see the quality of the content provided by Epic Games. Can you see? Can you guys see? Is it visible? We have a really cool robot guy in our scene right here. Okay. Yeah. So how am I navigating? Press right mouse button and hold right mouse button. WASD. You can navigate. Q down, E up. You can navigate around your character. And you can also press your mannequin and press F to focus on him. Okay. And if you want to orbit around your mannequin, press and hold down Alt, and press the left mouse button and drag the left mouse button like that. So press and hold down Alt button and left mouse button and drag. So you can orbit around your character, just like that. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's about the how you can drag and drop stuff into our scene right here. Now we're gonna create like sort of like a room. We're gonna create a room for this character. So what we're gonna do is click the content browser where we have our assets. Click on starter content right here. We'll double click on the starter content and click on prop. Oh no, not props. Architecture. We'll click on architecture. Double click on architecture, and here we have provided with some basic, wall, floor, pillar, and stuff. So we're just gonna cover this floor. We're gonna make this a room. So what we're gonna do is just click and drag the wall. Let me see. Yeah, this wall 400 into 400. We'll just click and drag the wall into our scene. See? I'm sorry about that. Click and drag and place it. See, it's that simple. You just have to click and drag items into your scene. And now, what do? We have to rotate. We have to rotate this wall here so that we can make a room sort of thing. So how do you do that? In the default option here will be to move the object. So these three handles represent the three axes. Okay, the green represents the y-axis, red represents the x-axis, and the blue one represents the y-axis. So if you want to move it along the x-axis, you can click and drag, moving in the x-axis. Okay, if you click and drag on the green, they'll be moving on the y-axis. Okay, but we want to rotate this wall. So how do we do that? Click here. Can you see? Like now we are on the select and translate objects. Click on select and rotate objects. So click on that. And now if we click on the blue axis and rotate, we can rotate it 90 degree. We can rotate it 90 degree. See? That wasn't so hard. And now we have to move this. So we'll go back to select and translate objects. We're just gonna move it to the side like this. We're gonna place it right at the end. Okay, right there. Now, if you want to be super accurate where you're placing it, you can click this tab right here, saying perspective. Click there and click to the top view, so we can view the top portion. Okay, we can view it in the top view. Click that, and you'll have a wireframe mode of your scene that you're creating. So here's our, can you see? Here's our wall that we just dragged in. Here it is. You guys can see it, right? Okay. Yes, okay. So we'll just click and drag so that it's precise. Okay, it's actually correctly placed. We also have the snapping turned on. The snapping means that it is gonna snap your objects up to every 10 grid snap value, which basically means that you're gonna go like this. See? So it's gonna snap to the nearest grid. If you don't want that, you can just disable snapping right here. You can move it freely. You can move it wherever you want. To be precise, you can just turn on snapping, and then you can just go like that. Okay. Okay. So we have put up our first wall. We'll have to cover the whole thing. So what we're gonna do, you'll do is actually drag another wall and place it right here. Instead of doing that, we can actually duplicate objects that we have just, dragged and dropped onto our scene. So how can we duplicate objects? With this selected, okay, with our wall right here, as you can see, it's just highlighted in yellow color. With it selected, I'll just go to the perspective view. Perspective view, when we go back to the perspective view, we're back in our scene right here. So what we want to do is actually duplicate this wall to this side. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually duplicate it on the y-axis. So hold down Alt key, hold down the Alt key, and just click on the green, which is the y-axis, and then just drag it. Okay, there you go. We have duplicated another wall. Pretty easy, right? Just have to hold down Alt key to duplicate, and then just move it along the direction you want. Pretty basic stuff. Okay, is that clear? Yeah, so now we have to make a whole room like this. So what we're gonna do basically is we're gonna build this room. So I'm gonna just quickly build it for you guys so I don't want to waste any more time. I'm gonna actually drag in this wall door right here. You can create your own room by dragging and dropping stuff from the starter content. I'm just gonna do it really quick. Okay. I'm gonna drag another wall like that. Make sure it's in position. Okay. Now we're going to drag another one. And then rotate this. I'm going to move it. Yes. Okay, one more. Okay. Now we need two more. So we're just gonna take that. I'm duplicating and rotating it at the same time. Right back here. Okay, and we're gonna once more. There we go. Doesn't have to be precise. You can do it later. There we go. We have created a room, basically. It looks like. Okay, so that's all about dragging and dropping stuff and duplicating it. So to duplicate it, just click on the object you want to duplicate and press and hold down Alt key and just move where you want to duplicate it, like that. I'm just gonna delete that. So yes, now we have a beautiful looking room. So is it clear up to here? Can I move on to the next session? Clear. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. So the next part, we're going to be taking a look at the materials. We have just plain solid walls. Now we want to add some materials onto these walls. Okay. So that's what we're going to do next. And look at our world outliner. It has all our assets that get displaced. Wall 400. You can see, right? That's all the assets that we placed. If you click, you can highlight them. Yeah, good. Okay, now we're going to apply some materials to these walls. Okay, go back to our starter content. Click on materials. These are some preset materials which are available in the starter content. You can import your own materials from any other software which you might know. Quixel is actually a pretty good site which provides free materials that you can use in Unreal Engine. Quixel is a website that develops 3D photo scan materials of premium high quality, production level quality. But they have joined forces with Epic Games. So Epic Games and Quixel have partnered up to bring Quixel assets into Unreal Engine definitely completely for free. So if you have an Epic Games account, you can log in with your account into quixel.com and you can download some high quality assets from there. I'll show you that at the end of the session. Okay. For now, let's just use the default materials. Okay. So we're gonna first apply some materials to this wall. Let's see, what can we take from the materials? Let's make it a brick wall. So I'm gonna take this M brick clay new material. You can see right here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select our wall right here, okay? And under our details panel, we can scroll down. And here's the material section for the wall. We have just dragged it, okay? This is the material section. Now there's no material applied to it, just the basic default material. So what we're gonna do is just click and drag the material. So as a green box is highlighted, okay, along the material, and we're just gonna drop it just like that. Just like that, we have a texture on our wall. Super easy. Is that cool, right? Just have to drag a texture and drop it on our wall. I hope that's clear to you. Yeah, that's right, super easy. Okay, so let's just apply some materials to the rest of the wall too. Okay, now let's do the same thing for here. Click, or you can just click and drag it on to the wall too. You don't need to go here, you can just click and drag it onto the wall. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here. Oh, let's just try a different material there. What material do you want to use? Let's do a concrete. Let's try a concrete material. Click and drag, and bang. There you go. Super easy. We're gonna do the same thing right here. Click, bang. Okay. Now we're gonna apply a different material. Here, let's go for something shiny. Or rusty material. Let's go for a rusty material. Let's take this one. That's a rusty metal material. Rusty looking wall. Let's do the same thing here. Now for this one, we'll be going for, you know, about we'll just select. I'll just select the brick clay mold again. Oh no, that's another material. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. Okay, so there we have it. Just drag and drop your materials onto your assets and you have materials. Okay, super cool. Now you'll apply material for the floors too. This is basic floor material. If you want to apply that, you can apply to. There's the floor, or maybe we can go for something more shiny. Let's go for marble, polished marble. Oh my God, look at that. Look at the shininess on the marble. Look at that, look at those reflections coming from the walls right here. Can you see the reflections? Yes. The ASWD is not working in the workspace. You have to click and hold right mouse button and then click on WASD to navigate around. Okay. Yes. Okay. So moving on. So that's how you apply materials and textures to your objects in the scene. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to some lighting effects, which you're gonna love. Okay. So basically now let's look at our world outliner here. Basically, our scene is lit by two lights mainly. The skylight, which is sort of a light that will emit light according to the sky, like a sky sphere. You can see that light from the sky. You can't actually see it, but it's there, okay? And the directional light, or the light source, or the directional light. The directional light is our main source of light, which is coming onto the scene. This is the sign for directional light. And also, if you want to hide these annoying looking signs from your scene, you can just press G and everything just disappears, okay? If you want to bring it back, press G again. If you want to hide this stuff, press G. Okay, that's clear. So let's bring back our directional light. Okay, And now what I want you to look is basically like when we move the directional light, like click on the directional light, change it to the rotation. Okay, when we move the directional light, look how the shadows are changing. Let me just move the snapping. Okay, see how the shadows change accordingly how the light is moving around. Yes, so that's real-time rendering for you. Unreal Engine is the best real-time render engine I've ever seen. Shadows move at real time, lighting real time, everything is in real time. So you don't have to wait until it's rendered or stuff, and you can view it in the viewport. Okay, is that clear? Okay. So that's the main source of light for our scene. Skylight, which is obviously giving us this sky effect, or the sky, light from the sky is being from the sky light. The sky sphere is actually the whole dome of sky that we can see over here, okay? Okay, now I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete or I'm gonna just hide the skylight sources one by one. Skylight, sphere function capture, sky sphere. Okay, must be fog. Yeah, okay. So now basically we don't have any lights in our scene. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna be looking at some of the static or lights which are available here, like the point light. How can we use a point light? Just click and drag one point light into the scene. Point light emits light in all the directions. Okay, so it has this radius of which it affects. You can see. So this is the radius which it affects the light where you keep it. Okay, we can click and drag the point light to anywhere you like. We'll just keep it here. You can also change the intensity of the light, make it more bright. The modifications of the actors which are placed in our scene is done at the details panel right here. We can change the intensity of the light. We can change the color of the light. We want a blue light, red light, green one. We can all do that here, okay? And there are several other settings here too, but we're not gonna go further deep into that. So point light is a light which emits light in all directions. Okay, so that's all about point light. Now we're gonna add a spotlight. We can drag the spotlight into the scene. So I don't know if you can see it. I'll just disable this. So can you see the spotlight? So it is what basically the name suggests. It's like a spotlight. It is used to highlight an object or something important, just like that. So that's a spotlight. You can also play with the settings here, like increase or decrease intensity, color, and all that stuff. The inner cone angle, basically, you know, part where the cone is affecting the light, the outer cone angle, make it big or small according to your needs. That's about spotlight. We'll delete that one too. And we have the rectangle light. The rectangle light emits light from a plane point of view. Okay, we'll just drag it right here. You can't really see the rectangle light clearly. I'll just increase the intensity. Yeah, now you can see. Okay, so it emits light from a plane or a rectangle. You also have any settings for the rectangle light. You can, the barn door angle, you can make it curved like that. And the barn door length, you can increase the length and size of stuff. You can basically play around with the lights. There is no much, they are pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so let's bring back our skylight, skysphere, light source, atmospheric fog, sphere motion capture. Okay, so that was about lights. Are there any doubts? Are there any doubts in the lights part? So we can move ahead further. I'm going a little bit faster because I want you guys to actually render out a video at the end of the session. Okay. Okay, no doubts. Okay. Let's move ahead. Okay, so now we have built this small room in which our character is being placed. Let me just move this floor. Oh yeah, the very important thing is that it auto saves basically, but you have to save everything. Otherwise, if your engine crashes or anything, it will be gone. So you just save everything. Okay, before that, staying organized is a very important part while doing a project. So everything you're doing should be in your content browser. So click on content here, and we'll just create a new folder in this content browser called maps. Okay, where we'll be saving our levels we're going to be building. So 3 main important folders that you need are maps, materials, textures, and cinematics. Sorry, four folders. Okay, so we're going to create our first folder and we'll name it maps. You can't use spacebar in naming anything in Unreal Engine. If you use spacebar, it's going to show this error, so you can't use spacebar. Okay, so in maps we're going to click save current, and we're going to navigate to the maps folder we have created right here. Okay, and we're going to rename this as level_01. Okay, and click save. So we have saved our map. Now we're safe to move on. Okay, I'm gonna just move this floor to the center, just in case. Okay. Okay, that's nice. That's better. I'm gonna hide everything. Okay. Now what are we gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna just quickly show you an amazing effect which will blow your mind. Imagine you want a foggy scene. You want a really atmospheric, dark, eerie, scary scene that you want to make. So we're gonna go to the visual effects tab here, and we're gonna click on this guy, exponential height fog. Okay, we have an atmospheric fog. And delete the point light. We have an atmospheric fog actor, which is basically giving us this atmosphere sort of look, but it's not that much. So what we're going to do is actually get this guy here, exponential height fog, click and drag him into the scene. Whoa, and suddenly your scene looks a bit foggy. It's only a bit foggy, so we can increase density all the way up. And if we go inside, our scene is really foggy now. Can you guys see? Okay. You can barely see the sky and the sun and the clouds. Our scene is super foggy. Okay. Okay. So this is the settings for the fog here. Fog density, if you place it at the maximum, you can get this. Okay, fog is at the bottom part right now. If you want the fog to be and the upper part, you can just click and drag the fog height fall off to all the way up to 0.001. That's gonna make your sky look super foggy. Okay. And you have these settings to play with. You can basically play around with these settings and find your desired fog. So to get the realistic looking fog effect, what you want to do is go down here and click on volumetric fog. See that? Volumetric fog. Activate that. Okay. You can't really see much difference, but when you render a movie or a video clip out of this, you can actually see the difference. How the fog is affecting the atmosphere. You can't see it in the viewport, but it should be affecting it. Okay, I'll show you that in a while. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna click the light source right here, the directional light, and we're gonna go down and we're gonna turn on light shaft occlusions. Click that on, turn that on. Now, if you can, I don't know if you can see, yeah. Can you see that black sort of shadow on our head of our character? Yes. So that's actually God rays, which you might have heard of, like these holy grail of lights coming from the heaven, small rays coming from the heaven. Like you can actually see them right here, right there. See, it's covering our. Let me just move the light source. Okay. I'm just gonna rotate the light. Yeah, there we go. You can see that. Can you see it? Can you see it? It's really hard to see, I guess. You can't see. Okay, let me just. I guess you're able to see some kind of a volumetric lighting, like an atmosphere sort of lighting in this scene. I don't know, maybe if you can only see it while you're doing it, because it was built for me. But anyway, that's how you create an atmospheric scene for your background, okay? That's all about the exponential height log and the light shaft occlusions, okay? Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next section. I'm gonna delete all these walls right here. Click and delete, okay? Okay, now we have our robot. Okay, now you can see some kind of, like, now you can see, right? The augmented fog. Pardon, I didn't understand that. You can see some grail of light coming from our robot guy's head, which is because of the light shaft occlusions we have given. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off for now. Is it? Yeah. Okay. So now we're actually going to, what we're going to do is actually go into the cinematic part of where we're going to render out a scene, like a video. We're going to make a video, okay? So for that, what we want to do is actually we need a camera. Just like we're looking through a camera in the real world, you have a camera in Unreal Engine to basically record your videos on how you want it, but virtually, okay? So go to the cinematic tab right here and click on Cine Camera Actor. Drag this bad boy out to the scene, okay? Now we have the Cine Camera Actor in our scene. We're just going to place it so that we can actually see a robot. I'm just going to go into the camera view. Okay, there he is. I'm going to place it right here. Okay, so what I basically did was I adjusted the camera to a position where I can see my robot. Okay, how I did that was that click on the perspective view and click on Cine Camera Actor. When you have dragged Cine Camera Actor into the scene, click on Cine Camera Actor, and now you're looking through the camera. Okay, you're not in the default viewport, you're in the Cine Camera Actor viewport. So basically the navigation in this is also the same. Right click and move where you want to. Okay, that's the same. and just fix the position where you want it. Okay. All right, and then click this arrow right here to get out of the camera. Okay, now we're in the default viewport. Now our camera is there. We're out of the viewport. Okay. I'm gonna disable the material. Okay. All right. We're gonna actually turn off the exponential height factor so you guys can see better. Okay. So you guys can see the robot and the camera. Now we're in the camera view. We're looking through our camera. Okay. We're in the camera view. Are there any doubts? Okay. So we'll proceed. All right. So now we're going to render out a scene. So the most easiest way to bring in an environment or a lighting preset is actually using an HDRI map, which basically stands for high dynamic range image. Okay. So what it is it's actually an image, but it contains some lighting information, which basically lights up our whole scene. So we don't have to spend much time on lighting or anything. Obviously, it won't be so accurate as we are building our lighting, but still, it'll do the job for us. Okay. So to include an HDRI map into our scene, we first need to turn on a plugin. So plugin, we need to turn on a feature or a plugin, it's called. So click on edit, click on plugins, and here we'll search for HDRI backdrop right here. Okay, click enabled, and it will say Unreal Editor must be restarted for the plugin changes to take effect. Okay, before that, I'm just gonna save everything, save, click save, and we're gonna go again, edit, plugins, click on HDRI. Okay, we have that enabled, and we'll just restart. We'll wait for the engine to restart, and we'll add our high dynamic range image into the scene. Okay, I hope everything's clear. If you have any doubts, you can just put it on the chat. Okay, it's loading up. Okay, now we have the basic level. So let's navigate to where we saved our level. Go to maps. There we have our level 1. Double click on this to get our level. Okay. So there we have our robot and our camera. So now what we're going to do, we're actually going to bring in a high dynamic range image into our scene. Okay, this is going to be really fun. So let's go to content. Where's the? Oh no, let's go to cinematic. Yeah, let's go to the lights tab. Now you can see there's an option called HDRI backdrop appearing here. Okay, click and drag that into the scene, just like that. And just like that, we have a beautiful environment right in front of our scene. Okay, we'll just get rid of this glitching effect by clicking on the floor and just disabling it or hiding it. Okay, now our robot character is inside a high dynamic range image. Okay, I hope you guys can see this. Are you following? Please respond if you can see. Yes. Okay. So we just inserted a high dynamic image into our scene, and it's basically our whole environment now. It's lighting up our environment, and it's actually giving us the feeling of an environment, but in reality, it's not. Okay. So I'm going to hide all these characters here, pressing G, and we're going to click on our scene camera actor. So we can basically preview what it is, how we can view through the camera right here. Okay, so Let's press G again to bring up the camera. Where is it? Oh yeah, there's the camera. Okay, we can move closer to our robot character. You can just bring this up. Okay, the lighting looks a bit odd, so what we're gonna do is click on the HDRI backdrop here, and under the details panel, we're gonna set the intensity to 0.3. Enter. Okay. Now if we look through the camera, yeah, it's better now. We're actually gonna disable the clear the exponential fog. Okay. Now it looks good. Okay. So you can basically view our robot through our cine camera. Looks nice. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna be rendering out a sequence in this environment. Okay. So what we're gonna do is first create a sequence. The sequencer tab, right? You wouldn't have this tab open because I've opened it already. Just close it. So what we're gonna do to render out a video is we actually need a sequence where we're gonna put keyframes and camera movements so that we can animate the camera. Okay. So we're gonna do that next. Click on the cinematics tab right here. Oh, before that, we can create a new folder for cinematics. So how do you create a folder? Just right click on new folder. We're gonna rename it to cinematics. Okay. Okay, and open that up. And we're gonna click cinematics right here on the top right. I mean, on the top here. And click on add level sequence. Okay. And we'll be directed to save it. So let's open the cinematics folder we have just created. Double click. And we're going to name this sequence _01. Okay. Let's save that. And now we have a timeline. Those who are familiar with Premiere Pro or any video editing software, you have a timeline like this where you can basically put keyframes, or you're gonna put some clips in between and you're gonna mix it up and whatever, right? So is it clear what we did? Okay. You want me to repeat? Okay. Okay, I'll repeat. So what I did was we'll just close the sequencer and we'll just delete the sequence. Okay, first delete. Okay. So we just inserted our HDRI cube map. You got that, right? HDRI cube map part. Is it the sequencer part that you're missing? Okay. So what we are going to do, we need a timeline to work with, you know, to create keyframes to animate the camera. So what we're going to do, we created a folder in the contents, our content browser. We created a folder called cinematics. Open that up. And we're going to click cinematics tab here on the right, here on the top. Click that and click on add level sequence. Add level sequence. And straight away they're going to force us to save the sequence. So we're going to go to the cinematics folder we created, and we're going to rename this as sequence _01. Okay, and click save. And automatically the sequencer tab opens up and the timeline will be visible. Maybe your sequencer tab would be here like this. You can actually dock your sequencer tab, click and drag, and just dock it here. Okay, is that clear? Okay, okay. Okay, so here it's empty now. Okay, so what we want to do is actually click on our cine camera actor. Okay, click and drag it into your sequencer. Okay, click and drag our cine camera actor into the sequencer tab. Now we get this. Okay, now we're looking through the camera. That's why this camera icon is highlighted. Okay, if we disable it, we're not looking through the camera anymore. We are in the default viewport. Okay, if we click this, we're looking through the camera where we have placed our camera. And now we're going to switch to the cinematic viewport right here. If you click perspective, just down, and go from default viewport to cinematic viewport. Click that. Okay, so this is the cinematic viewport. Now we're in the viewport. We need to switch back to our camera view. This is going to be a little tricky because you have to really pay attention to this because there are a lot of views. So now we're in the cinematic camera viewport. We're not looking through the camera. So if you want to look through the camera, press this icon right here. We're back looking through the camera. This is a pretty small lens. So what you can actually do is to achieve a cinematic look, there are some settings that you need to change in the camera settings. So click on Cine Camera Actor again, and the details for the Cine Camera Actor appears down here. So we're gonna just scroll down and click this film back settings, which is the default is 16:9 digital film. We're gonna click that and hit custom, okay? We're gonna hit custom. And we're gonna click the drop down right here for the film back settings. And for the sensor width, we're gonna type in 34, okay? And for the sensor height, we're gonna go for 14, okay? This is the settings I use for creating cinematic videos. Mostly all the cinematic videos are made in this format, I guess. Okay, so film back settings, change those sensor width and height. And if we move down, we go to the current aperture. Let's change that to 1.4. Okay, 1.4. 1.4. Okay, now you see the mannequin is a little bit blurry. Okay, it's not focused. We'll fix it. Okay, so we have done all of that. Now what you want to do is place your camera in a way where you want the shot to be taken. Okay, I'm just going to place it right here. Okay, I'm actually going to change the look of this mannequin character right now. So click on the mannequin. Okay, and we have some animation presets we have loaded from the pack. So click on use animation asset, and let's just see what we have here. Okay, do you understand that? Just click on the mannequin character, click on this animation in the animation mode, click on use animation asset, and here on the drop down window you can see a number of animations for it. So we're just gonna search for idle pistol. That's it. Okay, so now our robot character is actually aiming a pistol. Okay, we'll just position our camera like that. Okay, for me, I guess this is fine for me. Okay, so I have positioned my camera, and in the timeline, when you scroll down, these are the places where we can add keyframes for the aperture, focal length, manual focal distance, and transform. So we're first gonna add a keyframe for the transform, so we can fix our camera at this point. Okay, and now to focus our robot guy, we're just going to see this manual focus distance. It's a pretty big value, so we're gonna reduce that value super low. Okay, now it's slightly starting to focus on our robot. Okay, now the background is blurry and we are focusing on our robot character. Is that clear? Yes, I know the video is laggy, but I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. Can you guys see now? Is it visible now?
It's visible, but it's little bit laggy.
Yeah, I know it's laggy. I can't do anything about it here. For me, it's going super smooth. It's for you guys that it's laggy. It's because of in the Google Meet, it's like that. Okay, just follow along. Okay, I will just. So what we did actually was we fixed the camera at a place, and we added a keyframe for the transform part. Okay, we add a keyframe at the first frame or the 0th frame where it starts, okay? And we then decrease the manual focus distance to a pretty low amount, okay? So now you can see the mannequin. Now what I'm gonna do is actually, now what we have to do is actually build our lighting, okay? So building our lighting is very important before rendering so that you can actually check for some errors in lighting after, before you render, okay? So building and we're gonna build our lighting right now. So click on these arrows right here and click build options and click build lighting only. In the lighting quality, we can choose up to the production level, which is super high quality level. But now for this purpose, we're gonna do at the preview mode, okay? So lighting quality, make sure that lighting quality is set to preview mode, and we're gonna build our lighting. So it's gonna start this swarm connection. And we'll start building our lighting. Okay, exporting lighting data. Okay, so it shows map check found some errors. You can view the errors by clicking this show message log. Okay, it says multiple skylights are active. Okay, only one can be enabled per word. So we're just gonna close this. It's because we have added an HDRI backdrop and a skylight. Okay, so we're just gonna click the skylight, delete it. And we're going to build our lighting again. Okay, so build it again. We're just gonna wait until. Okay, now you can actually see the lighting has been built and our robot looks really nice with that lighting. You can actually change the position of the light using the directional light source. I'm gonna switch back. Oh, actually, I'm gonna switch back to the default viewport. Okay. Click on light source. I'm just gonna bring it down here so that we can easily rotate it. Okay. Switching back to the cinematic cine camera actor. Okay. There is our light source or directional light. So we're gonna switch this to the rotation mode and we're gonna rotate our light. That's gonna actually change the shadows and the position of our directional light. Okay. I think this is good. You can actually tweak these settings accordingly to your needs. You're free to do that. Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm going to press G on my keyboard to hide light. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keyframe the manual focus distance for the first frame, and I'm going to keyframe the aperture too for the first frame. Okay. Now we're gonna go to all the way to the 150th frame. So just click here to go to the end, okay? Click on this button, we'll go to the end. So now we're at the end of the timeline. So now we can just reposition our camera to another position, okay? So let's try maybe right click and we'll just go around like that, go a bit down, and just put it right here. Okay, and we'll add a keyframe there. We'll keyframe everything, which we did before. Now if we play it back, we get this super nice animation. I know it's going to be laggy for you guys, but please bear with me. Can't do anything about it. So I hope you guys can see the animation on the screen. It's going to be laggy. I know it's going to be laggy, but when you do it, it's going to be super smooth on your computer. Okay. I hope you can see it. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. I wanted to do this with like max FPS and showing you guys how smooth everything works, but unfortunately I'm not able to do it via Google Meet or anything. I don't know why. I'm not an expert in that, so I just want you guys to bear with me here. You can try it out for yourself. This video will be posted on YouTube later. And if there's any more information that you require, I can actually provide you with my number and you can contact me later, okay? So now here we have this super nice animation we have just created. I've set it to looping, so it's going over and over. You can actually try different poses for your mannequin character. Click on the character, click on the mannequin, and here we can change maybe, we can change this to an idle rifle hit. Okay, now we have this position of our character. Now he's holding like a shotgun or something. Okay. Now I'm going to change it back to my idle rifle, idle pistol. Okay. Yes. So now we're moving on to the final part where we're going to render out this video, this sequence as a video format. So you can further edit or color grade this stuff in your favorite video editing software like Premiere, Nuke, or Filmora or whatever. Okay. So for rendering this sequence out, first scroll back to here, and we have to ensure that we are on frame 1. Okay, at the beginning. Go to the front, click this button to go to the first frame. And here in the camera cuts option, we can just click on this camera icon, just like we did before on the Cine Camera Actor. Now we're going to do this here, okay? Click that there. And we're going to just make sure that it's playing smoothly. Okay, that's very good. All right. Okay, okay. So that's good. Now you can actually set the FPS of how much you want, how much frames do you want per second. I usually set it to 24, but for this purpose, I'm going with 30. Okay, so now if you want to render this out as a movie or a video clip, click here on this icon, on this what is it? Clap, the clap icon. Render this movie to a video or image frame sequence. Click on that. It's gonna open up a new window, render movie settings. So if you wanna render this out as a video sequence, you actually only have the AVI format available, no MPEG 4 or anything like that. So you have to render this out as an AVI and then convert it into your desired format. Okay, we don't have an audio here, so no need of any audio. And you can set the resolution of how much resolution you want. Oh, before that, I'm just gonna close this. And before rendering, what you want to do is, if you want it to be super high quality, you have to build your lighting. Actually, build lighting to the production level qualities. If you want super high, like 4K resolution videos or something, but we're not gonna do that here because that requires high GPU usage and it's gonna take some time. Okay, so we already built the lighting in the preview mode. That's done. Now what we want to do is actually click the settings tab right here. Click the settings tab, and we're going to go down to engine scalability settings right here. Make sure that you are in cinematic mode. That's the most high quality settings available for your video. Okay, we have low, medium, high, epic, cinematic. All these settings are available. Okay. So we're just gonna give me a minute. I think my software has crashed. Let me see. Oh, great. I'm just gonna restart this super fast. That usually happens when you work on the Unreal Engine. If you have more RAM and stuff, this won't be a problem. Unfortunately, I only have 8 gigs of RAM, so it tends to keep crashing. We'll just wait until this opens up. Go to library. We'll open up our project again. Okay, now go to the maps, open it up, cinematics. Oh dang, I forgot to save the cinematic part. We're gonna quickly create a USL sequence. Rename it there. We have done all this, but I forgot to save it, so I'm actually doing it again. So delete. Okay, go back to camera actor. 34, 14. Don't forget to save your stuff while working because this will happen otherwise. Now try the camera actor. Switch to my network. Page should be on. Okay. I'm actually going to adjust the aperture to 1.4. Okay, so we'll just reposition our camera once again, and I'm gonna search for the animation. Idle pistol. There we go. Right now. And what we did earlier was we changed this to something like that. We're gonna get a keyframe, go to the last frame, reposition the camera, keyframe again. Okay, we have our animation back. Okay, now we need to delete our skylight. Save this and go to the content browser and right click and save our sequence to. So save that. And now we're gonna build our lighting really quick. Just wait for it to load up. And yeah, we have built our lighting too. That looks good. Okay, now what you want to do is render this out as a movie or a video sequence. So just go to the camera cuts and select the video icon. Make sure you're in the first frame. Okay, and click this render this movie as a video option. We have only the AVI sequence. Since we don't have an audio, we're not going to select that. You can change the resolution here. If you want to go 4K and stuff, you can do that here. And let's just make this compression quality 99. 99 works good for almost everything. Okay. I'm just gonna save it in my text desktop. Okay. Just gonna rename this to one, something like that. And that's it. We're just gonna click capture movie. Oh, okay, I can't do that. I'm gonna put it somewhere here. Capture. Save selected, and you can actually preview the rendering here. The rendering is really fast in Unreal Engine because it's real-time rendering. So yes, we have now rendered out a movie or a sequence. Let's see where it's located. There we go. There we have our video right there. So yeah, that's how you basically render out a video or a sequence that you have created in Unreal Engine. I hope you have understood how you render out a video up to this. Okay, need some responses. Good. Is that clear? Yes. Do you have any doubts on what we did? Anywhere? You can ask me. Okay, I'll just provide my contact number in case you guys have any doubts. So this is my number. You can text me, call me, anything if you have any doubts. So it was fun sharing what I know with you guys. I hope you have gotten some information on how to get started with Unreal Engine and basically render out your first video sequence. You have only looked at the cinematic part on Unreal Engine, not the game development and other coding part. It was just drag and drop and just messing around with some settings and here and there. So thank you for joining this session with me. You can later review this video on YouTube, which we'll post later. All right, thank you. It was so unfortunate that my internet connection was lost in the beginning. I'm so sorry for that. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you. Hemant, do you have anything more to? You can do it now. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Make sure you have marked the attendance on the attendance sheet, and we also have a quiz at the end of the session. I hope they have shared the sheets. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nevin, Alvin. Yes, you're welcome. Yes, before you go, please do fill in the attendance form right there. I also do have an ArtStation page where you can check out everything that I've done. So I'll just show you that. Yeah. So if you go to this profile, you can search for me and you can view all the contents that I've created in my ArtStation page. Okay. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Nevin. Thank you. Thank you, Chakola. Thank you so much. Yes, if you have marked your attendances, you can leave. Yes, if you have any doubts regarding what you learned today, you can just post it in the chat box, or you can directly contact me. Yes, if you want to watch the videos that I have made, you can visit my YouTube channel. Oh, okay, the tutorial video. Yeah, right. You can watch that on YouTube as well. They'll use it.